That's the first step in being able to optimize your website, is to put yourself in the shoes of your prospect, right? So we're optimizing Forever 21. I'm going to have to put myself into the mindset of the visitor that's coming to this website. So I'm a 13-year-old girl. I arrive on the page, and the first thing I have to do as a 13-year-old girl is understand how this website is designed, because every website is different. The navigation's different, how to find things are different. I'm here for pants. I really would like the latest capris for this summer, right? I know, I'm doing a great 13-year-old girl. It fits. Okay, so I arrive here and I'm looking for pants. Where are the pants going to be on this unique website, right? Well, maybe it's up there on the nav somewhere, but really what's attracting my attention is this 75% off. That's pretty compelling. I don't see pants, but maybe I can be convinced to check out this 75% offer. So I'm about to try and figure out how to get in here. First of all, how do I find that 75% offer? I got to find the button. Where's the button? Well, maybe it's that shop sale. So I'm about to click on this thing to find about 75% off, and the whole thing changes, right? The experience changes. What happened? We got a slider. The nemesis of conversion. So now I still don't see pants, and I'd really like to get back to that 75%, but how do I get back there? I got to figure out the usability of this strange rotating thing. I'm not a web designer. I don't know how it works, and then it changes again. This is used on like 75% of the Fortune 500, and it sucks. When you think about it, from a visitor's perspective, it's terrible, but why is it so common? It's because it solves the art director's problem, right? It doesn't solve the customer's problem. They're confused. We've tested this many times. That's one you can take to the bank. Don't use a slider on your homepage. It kills your conversion rate, all right?
I hate it, and I'm 65.
Yeah, right?
Well, at least they're selling pants, no trousers like them.
Well, I'm sure it is somewhere.
And clothes.
You see them now.
Yeah, there's some pants.
Is that the case regardless of the product being sold?
Pretty much every case. I mean, there have been some exceptions where some sort of animation does work, but generally, sliders are terrible. Here's another example. If you've read any blog posts about best practices, if you've listened to any e-commerce gurus, if you've got a McAfee or a Norton Secure symbol, how many of you have an e-commerce website? Okay, you should put this thing as prominently as possible on your website, right? Unless you shouldn't. We tested this across a site-wide persistent call to action on an e-commerce website and it actually reduced their sales. Turns out that if you put too much prominence on security, you can actually create anxiety and reduce conversions. This guy has gone to the nth degree to create trust. Does it make you want to shop here? Right? He's got every symbol possible. But to me, it makes me think, why is he protesting so much about security? Like, what does he have to hide, right? Yeah, that's rocking. Yeah. So I like to sometimes take an example from bricks and mortar retailers because they've been perfecting the shopping experience for hundreds of years. So here's a great example. I mean, you look at it, it's got warm lighting, right? Great spaced merchandise, plush carpets. You can smell the leather just wafting out and inviting you into this experience, right? So would you rather shop here or in a high security environment? And yet as retailers, we think that, oh, they just care about security. We've got to make this ultra secure and make sure that they feel safe, right? And really what you're doing is repelling them. Okay, so how do you win the website game? It's all about a continuous testing and optimization process. And that's why I call my book, You Should Test That, and we're going to give away a free copy later. So we're talking about testing. Testing is the basis. This isn't a new idea. You know, we've known as a species for hundreds of years that the best way to make improvements in our standard of living, right, reduce infant mortality rate, increase standard of living, the technology we enjoy every day, the comforts of life, come from science. And yet marketers are this strange subspecies of humanity that believes their gut feeling is more powerful than the scientific method. Right? We believe that we know our target audience and that's all we need. So you know, I'm talking to some smart people here. You get this, right? You should test that. Okay, fine, Chris. We should test. Good. Let's get on to it. Right? What do we do? So what's important is how you test. How you test is critical to the results you get. I'm going to share a number with you. 200% is the number you need to understand. That's the value of a structured testing process. This was a study done by eConsultancy. They looked at companies that were doing conversion optimization and found those that had a structured approach to improving their conversion rate, a structured process, were twice as likely to also see large increases in sales from their program. Now, we've been developing and refining this process since 2007. We've been working with some of the largest companies around. In fact, Google was one of our first clients. And they hired us to optimize their AdWords advertisers for the largest advertisers. And there came a point when they tested us out and we'd done a bunch of testing and they saw improved ROI and conversion rates. And they said, can you scale? If you ever get that question from Google, say no. Run away. All right? So we said yes. And that's how, for the next 2 years, we really refined this system under fire because they just every day are like, when are we getting results? Faster, 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 faster. And so we developed the system. I don't have time to go through the whole thing today, but I want to touch on a couple of the most important points, okay? The discovery area and the area up in the top where you create hypotheses that are powerful and get results. So first of all, it's starting with goals. Now, some of you that are in marketing, you're probably going to be thinking, okay, goals, that's so basic, Chris. Why are we talking about goals? I mean, every thing starts with goals, right? Every plan starts with goals. But you'd be shocked at how many companies we go into where it's unclear what their website goals are. Why is it actually there? What should we be optimizing for? And we've got a simple framework for figuring this out, okay? It's called the goals waterfall. The way it works is you can probably identify what your business goals are. Why are you in business? Where's your revenue driven from, right? What actually creates money for your company? That should flow directly into your marketing goals. And then your marketing goals should flow directly into your website and your conversion optimization goals. If there isn't a direct line of sight between your conversion optimization and your website straight through to your business, you're probably optimizing really fast in the wrong direction, okay? So, for example, you got a lot of people saying, you know what we need? We need more Facebook likes. This is going to revolutionize our business. What's the value of a Facebook like to your business? How much revenue does that drive? Anybody?
Not much.
Yeah. 0 is a pretty good guess. So let's look at... You look awesome, right? You look sexy. Attribution modeling, good question. What do you mean, attribution modeling? Yeah, I know what you mean by attribution modeling. Yeah, well, attribution modeling is important, for sure. But you can do all the attribution modeling you want in the world. You're still going to end up with 0 on a Facebook like. You can try. There are ways of testing it, for sure. There are ways of testing it. And I'd encourage you to do that. The problem is that most people aren't. They're going out there and just saying, listen, this is the latest fad. This is the latest thing we have to jump onto. This social thing is going to be huge. So I'm going to get some Facebook likes under my belt because that's going to, I'm just going to, it's called the faith-based initiative, right? I just have faith that somebody out there, these gurus know what they're talking about, so I'm going to go with it. But no one's really testing it. And in fact, we have companies that test that and actually find out what the value is of that Facebook like, and then they know how prominent to make it on their website. That's the smart way to approach it. So this is an example of a company that had just done a website redesign with a well-known design company in Vancouver here. And this was the result. This was the post-redesign homepage. Now, if you look at this page, you could probably try and figure out what the goal is of their business, right? There's some branding, right? There's a sales listing. So this is a company that does RV rental and sales in Canada. There's a RV you can buy. There's a Facebook like. There's a rental special. There's a partner that they just created, so a news section. And there's a locations, which might be important because they have locations across Canada. But what's most important? When we actually turned out what actually turned out to be the case when we did some workshopping with them is that their goals were driven completely by this booking widget and up there hidden in the Contact Us menu. They needed people to call them or book the RV online. It turns out that sales of RVs wasn't important at all to their business, and yet it was taking a huge portion of their real estate. That's because they had not done the simple step of figuring out what's your website goal and how does it drive your business before doing a redesign. So after a redesign, it ended up looking completely different. This was after our testing. We ended up with a homepage that looked more like this, where they had segments to segment their customers, different RVs, indicating how many people would actually go in that RV, booking widget, value proposition, phone number, extra support. That ended up doubling their business from their website.